Good afternoon, church. You know, the day is coming. We're not sure of the exact date, but it will come when we are back together again in person in ministry. All of us here on staff at First Church, just like you, are looking forward to that day. And next time when the day comes that you're in my office, as you look around at the various mementos and the little bit of clutter, I hope you'll pause and take a look at this particular item that I keep on my desk. It's a rock. And of course, it reminds me of my brief personal sojourn in geology. But I also keep it around because it has an interesting story to tell. It's sharp and it's jagged. It's got big holes in it. That's all part of its story. You see, millions of years ago, in what is present-day Peru, there was a volcano, and lava flowed from the volcano, creating a rock when it solidified called basalt. And some of it solidified so quickly that there was gas, volcanic gas, trapped in the little gaps in the rock. That's why this particular stone is sometimes referred to as vesicular for the gaps, vesicular basalt or scoria. And then sometime later, quite a bit later, groundwater started passing through the gaps in the rock. And the water was under pressure. When it got to the gaps, the pressure released, and so the dissolved minerals in that hot groundwater was able to come out of solution and grow as crystals within the gaps of the rock. And so if you see inside the gaps, as you can do when it was cut in half, it's quite beautiful inside. Lovely crystals. And this rock reminds me that it's important to hear the whole story of things, to not just simply look at the surface. You know, there's a moment in the story of the Palm Sunday event in Luke's telling of it, when Jesus is coming down from the Mount of Olives and the crowds are throwing down their branches and their cloaks and they're crying out, Hosanna, and blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. When some of the religious leaders who hear this get upset and they say to Jesus, in essence, this is not appropriate. And they tell him, hush your followers, tell them to be quiet. And Jesus looks at these religious leaders and he says, if they were silent, the very stones would cry out. Sometimes rocks have stories to tell. And so do people of faith. We're moving into a new era when we can get back together again. The reality of the coronavirus outbreak is going to lead to some changes, ways to keep things more safe here at church, ways to interact differently, but we'll still have the same story to tell, crying out the good news of Jesus Christ wherever we can. And let's also remember that as we do that work, to not just check at the surface of things, but to go a little bit deeper and realize that every rock in this world, just like every person, if you take the time and you look deep enough, there's always beauty within. May God bless you this day.